I haven't end on me and I'll do the
turned on the audio yet.
What I have here is tiny little stitches and then larger stitches. The pattern I've been using for years. It was inspired by our round table because a rectangular placemat seems sort of wrong.
Filming it.
Hi, let's sew placemats. And I'm going to put in my fabric right up against my edger foot, which is very, very handy for this sort of thing. And I'm going to do probably about a 10 or a 12 for my stitch. And I'm just going to top stitch this. I will do a little bit of a back sew. This is my opening that I'm closing up now. And so I'm going to be very careful to catch the back fabric so that I don't have to hand sew that closed. There's a different way to start and stop your stitching, and so I'll insert that here. Those of you who free motion quilt will know that you're in control of your stitch length when you're doing that, and so you can do tiny little stitches to start and not need to back stitch, and then go on to the size stitch you want, and that's how you start when you're free motion quilting. Well, you can do that with top stitching too, and what you want to do then is set your machine for a tiny little stitch, and then go, you know, a 1/4 inch or whatever feels comfortable for how small your stitch is. You want little so you can barely see them, but you don't want to just pile up in one spot in a knot. You want to move. See, I'm actually moving, and now that I've gone that far, I'm going to go ahead and move to my 2.5 on this machine, 10 or 12 on a machine that is per inches, and I'm just going to go now. So I don't know if you can see this very well. I'm going to try to keep this in the screen. What I have here is tiny little stitches and then larger stitches, and I'll probably go even a little bigger. This is a little small for what I'm doing, and so I'll probably increase this size to finish this work. But as you can see, when I come around the other side of the placemat, once I get to about here, I can repeat the tiny little stitches right up to that, and that's going to give a much cleaner look than if I double stitched to start and then to end. And so that's just something I figured out after I learned to free motion quilt, when I would occasionally stitch something where I really wanted it to look clean in my top stitching, and I wasn't going to be putting that into a seam eventually. I was actually stitching on the top of something. I don't usually do it for placemats. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I hope you'll consider making these. They'll wash up nicely. Thanks.